Conor Whitacre, Defensive National Player of the Year. This is not remotely set up as an awards banquet. It's just not something that I've ever really believed in. We don't have players of the year for the season or whatever we've always said. If outside organizations want to give us those things, great, and if not, that's fine, but it's not necessarily the major focus for us. But I wonder sometimes if maybe we miss how big of a deal is that Corey, your comments about nobody really cares, so just like we're National Player of the Year within our program. And as far as we know, and I think our press release put out, and certainly is within my memory, I do not remember any Centennial player ever being positionally a National Player of the Year. So it's an incredible honor. We certainly, our program is not. And so I just think it's an amazing thing. And I'm so proud of him, of that accomplishment. I remember my brother coming into our program 2 years ago, and he's kind of being there preseason, and he was just kind of watching. He said I was talking to the team, and he was standing kind of behind me watching the guys watch me. And he said afterwards, he's like, the way Conor Whitacre watched and listened and just like intently focused on every word that you said was something unlike he's like seeing within his program and certainly saw with everybody else. Whitacre's level of just crazy focus in the middle of a bunch of high achieving people, but his level of just kind of detail and focus was just unbelievable. The other thing that Mark told me that I think held true was that we needed to figure out what position he was going to be and allow him to play one, because we had to play everyone. And he's like, for him to really be great, we had to commit to one. And even with Kopaz in the back, in both cases, who could do a lot of different things, that was always in the back of my mind, which was, could we just give Whitacre one thing for him to champion? Because we knew if we had him do other things, he scored a bunch of goals the year before. And so this year we said, you know what, we're just going to lock down to a system that's going to put him kind of in the middle of where he can be great and really let him roll. He absolutely is the greatest communicator that we've ever had defensively. And absolutely the best 1v1 defender that we've had. Him and Dave Rosenfeld, who also was an unbelievable 1v1 defender and was a player of the year and All-American as well. I think the thing that I love the most about Whitacre, though, is not just all of that stuff directly. It's something that I actually took all of the returning players and was talking after he got the award 3 or 4 days ago. It's just simply the balance that's inside of his life. There's so many different aspects of Conor Whitacre that I've seen, that I've respected, from how he kind of interacts with his family, to how he's done academically, to kind of how he's handled weekend opportunities versus on the field, and done those things kind of with grace. He's just been an incredible guy that's lived a very well-balanced life, and I think put him into a position for him to really, really be able to thrive. I also should say that for everybody, I think that's, if you're like National Forward of the Year, like Amherst guy, he scored 25 goals, people see that. And in his case, I also think that that's an award that all of you guys can say, you know what, like defenders have to do it with everybody around them. And it's an award that can be somewhat shared by the group because of what he was doing. His job was to organize everybody. But it was amazing. It was amazing this year to be able to say, we're going to have Ferd, and he's going to just step forward and pretty much just steal Ginelli. Other games, he's going to step back. He played many different ways within the system, and was just a great guy, great captain. National Player of the Year, first team All-American in both the organizations that rate him. Conor Whitacre.
Thank you, Wax. First and foremost, the award is absolutely a group award. forward, so not that I may have not already, but Chris and the rest of the back line, shout out to you guys. We locked it down all year. We said from the beginning we had the chance to be best back line in the country. I firmly believe that by the end of the season we were playing our best soccer and did just that, so thank you guys. I have the privilege of closing this thing out, or being the last speaker at least, so I can get to repeat everything that you guys already said. So try and keep it on the shorter side, but yeah, get into my thank yous. Wags, thanks for the opportunity to be a part of this family program. I'm glad my terrible touch out of high school didn't scare you away, as sports were a major part of my life that I was not ready to give up. Thanks for taking a chance on me and allowing me the opportunity to compete, grow, and have 4 years of incredible experiences in this amazing program that you've created. Donnie, much of your work's done behind the scenes, but thanks for everything you do. From recruiting, hosting recruits, camps, practices, and everything in between, thanks for your efforts and for keeping things fun. In the midst of tough practices or days, backwards hat Donnie was always there to make soccer enjoyable. Coach, though I never got to do fun things in practice like play goalie spike ball, it was always awesome having you around. Would have loved to do that stuff as well, but I felt like any conversation I had with you, I always left laughing about something, and more importantly, you've helped our goalies, Chris, Hank, all the ones to come, Bryce, and the ones that are coming in next year to just be top-notch keepers, and that obviously helps the back line. We rely on those guys to just make saves when we let up shots occasionally. Wyatt, as a former teammate, friend, and now a coach, you're someone I've always looked up to, and I've learned a ton from, especially this year growing into a defensive player. I could go on about the talks, your advice on and off the field, but thanks for your overall impact on my experience here in these last 4 years. Addison, thanks for all the laughs during our runs with you during practice, as well as the interesting weight room exercises. It was always fun to have something to do, new and different when we were in there, and I could put your bright sunglasses collection up against anyone else's. You rock them all. Shelby, thank you for being a team mom and for making our program feel that much more like home. Your kindness, support, and enthusiasm was always felt, whether it was after games or the numerous times we were over at your house for dinners or just because. And to this day, I swear you're the only person, and I'm one who tends to tune people out when I'm on the field, but Shelby is one of the only people that I've ever been able to hear yell during games, so that's good. Thank you for everything. Al, thank you for your continued support of our program. I feel like a big part of the way I look at this program can be traced back to you. When you look at some of the things we value, soccer family, alumni connections, developing leaders, post-graduation, you seem to be central in all of it. From supporting our team game to game, making the time to invest in us off the field as well, whether it be with soccer, PDP, career advice, team dinners, and so on, you're very appreciated. An example being the other week when I received the call about the Defensive Player of the Year award, and less than an hour later, it was you calling me on the phone just to personally reach out and say congrats and chat for a few minutes. Something pretty special that not a lot of programs have, and I appreciate that. Not to mention Carl, also maybe beat you by a few minutes, but shout out to Carl. Anyways, I feel like the relationships beyond soccer are what truly set a good program apart, and while we're a heck of a soccer program, people like you make this experience that much more special and that much more helpful in preparing for life. I appreciate all that you've done for myself in this group, and I know everyone in this room will continue to be better off because of you. Scott? Like mentioned, I'm not sure many people in this room realize the magnitude of your impact or what your job title encompasses. Whether it be serving as a life resource every day, showing up at practices just because to help out, chase balls down, giving us talks in the locker room, or being active with seniors and leadership, you're always finding ways to help others embed in this program. Thanks for your genuine interest in our development and for your constant support on and off the field and around campus. Russ, who is not here, so now I don't have to sugarcoat it. That guy made Wednesday mornings miserable. 6 a.m. wake-ups were not fun, but I learned to enjoy it by the end of my career, and it definitely made me consistently stronger, and more importantly, had an injury-free career, so I have Russ to thank for that. Matt and the whole training staff, if there was ever an injury, you're always there to help. From major ACL rehabs, maybe pairing with Dr. Zeus and those things, to making sure you had everyone's ankles wrapped. Yourself and the athletic training staff are awesome, and every single guy in here probably actually enjoyed coming to get treatment just to hang out with you. To the parents, thank you for your unending support and contributions to this team. From my own sports experiences, I know that parent involvement in sport can either be really good or sometimes really annoying. However, in my 4 years here, I've seen and felt nothing but love and family from every parent in this room, as well as the many parents in previous years. Traveling to games near or far, providing the best tailgates possible, families having a bunch of college kids at their house, being professional resources, the unforgettable dad tab in South Africa, and so much more. The generosity of this group was special to be a part of, so thank you for making our experience that much better. I'm going to go to my class now, my brothers, my best friends. Maze, start off with you. Little did I know in middle school, we were out there winning Jeff Cups together on PA Classics, that I would have 4 more years with you, but I couldn't have been happier when I found out. Having a friend and a familiar face coming in was really helpful for me my freshman year, and I'll never forget the time since. You're an awesome guy, one of my best friends, and you're going to do great things. Appreciate you. Will, one of the best guys I know. You're a great example for others, and have been all 4 years. You pushed everyone in this room to be their best. It was a blast co-captaining the team with you this past year, and I'm really going to miss all the random and sometimes annoying discussions that would come from that, but it was fun. Looking forward to hitting the links with you this spring. Hopefully I'll improve my handicap and not lose to you by 20 strokes, and learning more random British phrases that I'll never understand the meaning of. Core, you're hilarious, man. It was funny knowing you as the quiet core coming into school to where everything you say has people laughing somehow. Thanks for clearing so many balls off the goal line these last few years, making some crunchy tackles even if you're 30, 40, 50, what is it now, concussion, to keep you from remembering. Whatever coding job you end up with, they'll be lucky to have you. Chris, one of the most awesome guys I know, funniest guys I know. If you're not downing a Red Bull for some reason, you're probably having guys laughing. Yet you're always the first to have someone's back when we need. And I've even seen you make a few kids cry when they've gotten in our way. I've enjoyed keeping the ball in the back of the net with you these last few years. Thanks for bailing out the defense when we let shots on you, let you out to dry. I'm looking forward to tossing some more people out of Red Rose with you this spring. Jack. Really? Jack. Where to begin? Still think I have nightmares of you on a table yelling I'm crazy at bond check. But living in the same building freshman year was a blast. It was awesome to get to know you. He was one of my first friends here at F&M. And I really enjoyed that. I think I've also learned enough would you rather scenarios to last me a lifetime. I wouldn't have expected to end our careers playing center back next to one another, but I think it worked out pretty well. So appreciate you. Max, aka the Good. Where do we begin with you? Going out on a limb to get the house 2 years ago in the lottery turned out to be one of the greatest choices, even though we almost got scummed. Worked out for us. From the many dinners, soccer talks, darts, cards, homework nights, they quickly turned into playing FIFA or sharpening our bong skills. And so much more. Living with you's been awesome. Thanks for being a great roommate and friend, and always knowing when to double down. Looking forward to one final semester in the house. Sam and Zoe, who are not here. Sam, one of the funniest people I know, like mentioned before, and Zoe as well. He's a character. I'd be remiss not to mention them because nothing got me more fired up than all the egregious things they yelled to opposing teams and fans. That was definitely appreciated, especially towards the end of the year against big rivals. So appreciate those guys. To my class as a whole, it's been an incredible 4 years with you guys. Wouldn't have traded for the world. From a very well-rounded group of soccer players to never-ending fun, 625, Aruba, need to go back, or to Kamabu to Conor. I really can't wait for all the memories in our final semester and beyond. You guys are my best friends, and I love you guys. To my family, my brothers, Luke and Benny, who aren't here, but they're some of my best friends. My mom would probably attest that anytime we're all in the house together, it's a freaking crap show. But I love those guys. They've always supported me. Anything I've ever accomplished, they're always the first ones to give me a call, and there's nothing more than I enjoy being around them. To my grandparents, who most of you probably know, I don't think they've ever missed a single sporting event in 22 years. It's crazy, but it shows how incredibly supportive you are in my sports career and in my life as a whole, and I'm appreciative of that. Whether it was in preseason at some random camp that God knows where it was, or a big playoff game, you guys were always there for me, and I can't tell you how much it meant. Thank you for being my biggest fans, along with Mom, throughout my sports career and in life. I love you guys. It's also my grandma's birthday today, so I wish you special. thank you for being here to support me on your special day. Victor, Houdini, whatever you go by these days. First and foremost, thanks for your guidance over the last several years. For me, whether it be with school, soccer, career-related stuff, and so on, you've given me someone to look up to and have shown me how to be a better man. I appreciate your involvement with the program these last 4 years, from helping out with tailgates, being in games, or wowing people with magic anywhere we may be. It's always more fun with you around, and I'm thankful for you. You left big shoes to fill with the team magician role, JT, and anyone else who wants to fill out applications. Talk to Vic. Mom, not sure where to begin. For 22 years, you've been my rock, my best friend, and I can't thank you enough for raising me to be the person I am today. Watching you raise 3 boys on your own who weren't always appreciative enough of everything you did, while making sure we had everything we needed, inspired me to work hard and never make excuses. From you, I've learned to be unselfish, resilient, kind to everyone, and to leave things better than I found them. Thank you for providing for me, allowing me to play sports and do what I love, driving me to all my practices and games, even when I wouldn't talk to you on the way home after losses. Not a single word, not kidding. And being there for me when I needed, and so much more that I'll never be able to repay you for. From when I was little up through these last 4 years, you were always involved as much as possible, evident by your involvement during my time at F&M. The effort you put in with tailgates, setting up and taking down lights and tables at the tent, and everything was probably a lot of times, but along with all the other parents in here, it truly is what allows our program to be one of a kind. It meant a lot to be close to home, though I wasn't sure how it would work out, but it ended up being an awesome experience to have you and the rest of the family along for the ride. Thank you for everything you do for me and for being my biggest fan and the best mom in the world. I owe most of what I am today to you. Thank you. McKenna, you're incredible. I can't thank you enough for your support over these last 4 years. Adjusting to a new scene and going through the ups and downs of playing a sport in college was tough for me early on. You were and continue to be a constant for me that I can always go to, and I'm so thankful for that. Going to different schools and me having to put soccer first almost always in order to be as successful as I wanted was probably very frustrating for you. However, you made it easy on me, always considering my interests, friends, and goals with soccer and allowing them to come first. You made the effort to travel to games whenever you could, whether they were home or far on the road, and overall allowed me to be the best I could while giving up your own time and sometimes having less time to spend together. Any goal I scored or achievement I had, you were the first to congratulate me and motivate me to do more. Thank you for choosing to support me whenever you could. It means the world to me to have you along for this ride, and almost 4 years later, I'm excited to see what's next for us. Clearly, my family and people close to me are really important, and that relates to the message that I want to share pertaining to my experience here. I think it was during my sophomore year, maybe at the beginning of maybe at the banquet, or maybe just an end of season talk, when Wags said to the group that he didn't care about winning a national championship. He said that sure, it would definitely be awesome, but the next day you would wake up and no one would care because it's just the D3 national championship. And I can remember being so pissed off at him that day, in that moment, when I heard him say that, because I'm one of the most competitive people in the world, and winning has been the only option for me during my sports career. So my first reaction to that was, why am I here then? What the heck? Who's this guy that's telling me that winning is not important? Losing is the single thing I hate most, and my whole outlook on sports has been based on whether or not my team won. So he's telling me that this competitive mindset, which is partially what made me successful as an individual on the field, doesn't matter in the end. And so for me, it kind of took the meaning out of sports. If results didn't matter, what did? And as I had time to think about that and reflect during those first 2-ish years, that mindset is the one I had, I was also less invested in my teammates and my friends. I didn't love to spend a ton of time with people or talk about soccer or life or any of that. I was a little more on the introverted side coming into school. But what I cared about most was how I played or if we won a game. Maybe that was the case as I adjusted to college life, or maybe not. But when this was my focus, I oftentimes found myself not happy enough. After having some time to think about what Wags had said that day, and realizing that the team in recent years had done a good bit of winning anyways, even when he said it wasn't important apparently, it finally registered that winning was partially a product of everything else going on, and then I needed to look further to find more meaning in what I was doing. Winning a soccer game by itself is not why our coaches, myself, or everyone in this room likes soccer or this program. It surely is satisfying, but if you win on a team with a bunch of individuals or a screaming coach like Haverford or other teams, it eventually runs out and no one enjoys it. This experience led me to realize that the most important contributor to our excellence here is the brotherhood, which is probably the biggest lesson I learned during my 4 years. The relationships we make are the greatest things about team sports, especially in the game of soccer, because you simply can't replicate a team atmosphere anywhere else in life. This realization changed how I lived day to day, whether it was being happy for the person or for the on-field success of the guy that played ahead of me in my younger years, talking with my friends about how they're doing, having guys over for pancakes weekly, which was sorely an excuse to just hang out and have people come over, or simply learning to compartmentalize soccer from my relationships to allow them to grow more. I found myself investing in my teammates more, and not only did it make me closer with them, but it also made me happier in general. In my experience, being part of a brotherhood like this allowed me to grow and serve a bigger purpose. Once I started investing in others, I found myself in the library more often with these same people, which is something that I didn't do enough of early on. I trained more with guys, even when we didn't need to or weren't supposed to. Went to the gym with guys more. Some of these guys being outside my own class, oftentimes it was with them, but it included other guys. Truly a team atmosphere. And that's contagious throughout a team and throughout guys that are freshmen to seniors. You have connections here and there, but sometimes you got to bridge it in ways. And hanging out in those ways off the field for me was huge. And I think it's awesome to see a lot of you guys doing that same thing. Suddenly growing and getting better off the field and in the classroom all just felt like hanging out with you guys. Though sometimes sitting in the library together leads to watching sports and getting absolutely nothing done, but the point is that stronger relationships allow me to thrive in all facets of my life, because what I enjoyed was being with my friends. It could be working camps together, working concessions at a game, training, studying, helping out at Water Street, whatever you want to make it. When you do it together, it's an energy that carries throughout life, into others, and onto the field. Though winning is awesome, I find that what I will miss most are these moments behind the scenes spent with my best friends. I'm lucky to say that I've made enough memories in these last 4 years with all you guys to fill a book. The big family we have here and the relationships it's brought me have taught me gratitude, humility, respect, and many other qualities that I was not necessarily intentional about when I came to F&M. Being a part of a tight bond that this program has, parents and coaches too, transcends the game in any measurable statistic or award of wins, accolades, Defensive Player of the Year. It creates a good culture by itself. To the returning guys, what I'll say to you, kind of along the same lines, is just to truly invest in those around you and be intentional about spending time together, having each other's back, and being about something bigger than yourself. And that will give you the most out of your experience here. It will go quicker than you think, and like a few of us mentioned, what you will miss most probably won't be soccer games. There will definitely be a few memorable ones, and all the winning will surely serve as awesome accomplishments and memories. But what you'll miss most is the people that were on the journey with you. The process of overcoming barriers, facing adversity, and growing together. The late nights cramming work with your friends, days serving others, watching shows together, running sprints together in the off-season, weekend nights, and everything in between. Be intentional about taking advantage of this while you can, because I learned that making the effort to invest in others during your time here will create real relationships that will last forever. Thank you.